In Activity 4, Seeds in Water, students discover that seeds sprout in water. Students first plant seeds in water, then observe and record the progress of their seedlings. Finally, they learn that some seeds can be sprouted without soil, but all seeds need soil in order to grow. You will need the following materials from the kit: Activity Sheet 4, a magnifier, cheesecloth, small paper cups, growing instructions, a clear plastic jar, black construction paper, rubber bands, alfalfa seeds, mung bean seeds, mustard seeds, sponges, sprinkler bottles, masking tape, toothpicks, and plastic trays. You will also need to provide ripe avocados, a paring knife, paper towels, a metric ruler, a pair of scissors, and tap water. To prepare for Session 1, make one double-sided copy of Activity Sheet 4 for each student. Cut 2 strips of black construction paper 8 centimeters by 27.5 centimeters each. Purchase 2 ripe avocados and cut them in half. Make sure to save the halves that contain the pits. Place the following items at a central distribution station: 2 avocado halves with pits, 1 package each of alfalfa, mung bean, and mustard seeds, 6 small paper cups, 6 plastic trays, 6 clear plastic jars, 2 sponges, 2 strips of black construction paper, 2 squares of cheesecloth, 2 rubber bands, 1 box of toothpicks, 8 sprinkler bottles filled with tap water, a roll of masking tape, and a roll of paper towels. Each student will need a magnifier. Each team of 4 will need access to the materials at the distribution station, a piece of masking tape for a label, and some colored pencils. Prepare 2 areas in the classroom where students can set their containers of seeds during germination. The 2 sponges containing mustard seeds should be placed in sunlight. The 6 jars of mung bean, avocado, and alfalfa seeds should be placed in a warm spot out of direct sunlight. Finally, make copies of the appropriate growing instructions sheet, 1 copy per student. To begin Session 1, remind students of the seeds they planted in Activity 3 and encourage them to think about how soil and water are both needed in order for seeds to sprout. Let them know that in this activity, they're going to see what happens when they plant seeds without soil. Then, distribute a magnifier to each student and place samples of each seed on plastic trays for students to examine and compare as a class. Assign 1 type of seed, avocado, alfalfa, mung bean, or mustard, to every 2 teams, and hand out copies of the appropriate growing instructions sheet to each team. Students should review the instructions together and then get their materials from the distribution station and plant their seeds. Make sure to place the jars of avocado, mung bean, and alfalfa seeds in a warm spot out of sunlight, and to place the mustard seed sponge gardens in a warm, sunny spot. After students have planted their seeds, distribute Activity Sheet 4 and some colored pencils to each team. At the top of the sheet, students should write their name and the type of seed their team planted. In the first box, tell students to write the date their seeds were planted and draw a picture of the seeds in the space provided. Encourage students to watch their seeds closely over the next several days and record any changes. Students may add water as necessary to keep the seeds moist, but should not soak them. To conclude Session 1, discard the avocado, wash the paring knife, and return the materials to the kit. Make sure students save the growing instruction sheets and their activity sheets. To prepare for Session 2, each student will need a magnifier and his or her copy of Activity Sheet 4. You will need to make additional copies of the activity sheet for students as they complete theirs. Begin Session 2 when the seeds have begun to sprout. Each team of 4 will need their container of seedlings, some colored pencils, and a sprinkler bottle filled with tap water. To begin session 2, hand out magnifiers and bring students' attention to the containers. Give the class time to examine the seedlings so they can identify at least the stem and leaves. Then instruct students to record their observations on their activity sheets. Students will observe and record the growth of their seedlings every day for 8 weeks. Explain to the class that eventually they will have to transplant the seedlings into soil if they want them to continue to grow. Ask students, does anyone know why? Encourage students to respond that while all seeds need water to sprout, they also need the nutrients found in soil in order to grow. Initially, the new plant is fed by food stored in the seed, but eventually the nutrients from the seed get used up, and the plant will need to be transplanted into soil to keep growing. Students should continue to cultivate the seeds in water until Activity 6, when students study the roots of plants. Encourage students to keep their activity sheets and record the daily progress of their plants. Finally, let students know that in the next activity, What Do Plants Need?, they will learn about the variety of conditions plants need to stay healthy and grow. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science Reader, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.